How's it going, everyone? My name is Josh. I'm here with my funny headset on, and today I'm going to be explaining how we made this brand $58,633 in just 30 days. So these were their numbers before working with us. They did a little under $13,000 in their best month. They had 179 orders and a 1% conversion rate. Pretty standard stuff. The issue here was with their ads. You can see this is the same time frame. Their ads were running at a 1.75x return. So this $8,500 that they made actually lost them money. They lost money here. I do need to clarify that this is an old product. It's not the same product that we were scaling. They had a high cost of goods, low profit margins, and most importantly, unprofitable ads. So needed to clarify that before we look at our statistics. So here we are, $58,000 in sales in 30 days, 492 orders, and the conversion rate dropped, but this was a lot of cold traffic. This brand didn't really have a social presence, to be honest. So these are great numbers, honestly. And here are the ads for this time frame. Now, before you guys yell at me and go, Josh, this is a 2.5x. This is horrible. What are you doing? I'm going to explain everything for you. So we spent a little under $18,000 to make back a little under $45,000. And this is a new product. They had low cost of goods, really high profit margins, and these ads were very, very profitable. This number doesn't look flashy, but this is probably the best results that anyone could have generated for this brand. And I'm going to walk you through why that is. So even though $18,000 at a 2.5x might look less impressive on paper than a 4x, it's way more profitable. So even though the ROAS dropped, you're still generating way more total revenue. And because you're above your break even, the extra volume translates into more raw profit. So I'll give you an example here. These are not, note, these are arbitrary numbers for illustrative purposes only. This is not anything that relates to the brand. In this example, $7,000 in spend at a 4x ROAS gets you $28,000. Your gross profit, say you get 19,000 out of that, your ad spend was 7, you come out with 12. So $12,600. With this one, 18,000 at a 2.5. ROAS drops typically as price, as spend increases. Not in all cases, but it really depends on the brand. So in this case, 18,000 makes 45. Take out the profit, $31,000 profit minus ad spend. Your net profit is 13,500. So ROAS dropped from a 4 to a 2.5, but net profit still increased. So higher spend gave you an extra $900 in profit, plus more new customers, more data for budget optimization, bigger retargeting pools, and future lifetime value. So the brand traded some efficiency for scale and long-term gains, and it pays off. So that makes more sense. With more spend comes more reach. You brought in far more new customers, which are the foundation for future lifetime value. A small drop in ROAS unlocks months or even years of repeat revenue. So these aren't just one-time buyers. If even a portion of them come back to buy again through email, SMS, organic, etc., your blended return multiplies far beyond the initial ROAS. Higher spend helps cement your brand in the minds of more people. That compounds over time, making every future campaign cheaper and more effective. This was their first month working with me, and this was their first drop since this last one. So, like I said, small brand. This is not a big company. That's why these numbers are smaller and more realistic. So the more you spend, the more data Meta gets. This accelerates pixel training, improves audience matching, and helps your ad account optimize faster, which can lift performance in the future months. More top of funnel traffic means bigger, warm, and hot audiences to retarget, where ROAS is often the highest. This sets you up for a cheaper and more efficient next month. So scaling spend gives you more room to test more creatives and angles. Help you can find new winners that can help you that you can use to keep ROAS stable as you scale even further. So instead of chasing one-time spikes in efficiency, you're building systems where spend goes up, return remains profitable, and growth becomes predictable and controllable. You guys don't understand how important this is, and so many people aren't going to teach you these laws of understanding people's break evens and how to actually run profitable ads that aren't just flashy and taking advantage of their existing audience, but these are new customers for this brand. Assuming that every person purchased one time, and they say that every person who purchased before purchased again, we gave them, what is that, 300 new customers. 300 new customers this drop, and it could be even more. So that's super important. Here, I'll move over to how we did it. This is probably why you clicked on the video. So first, you have to test your creatives. This is a weekly process. Excuse me. We start by launching multiple creatives, both images and videos, across a few different angles, hooks, and formats to see what resonates best with cold audiences. So why are we testing weekly? Why are we doing this? Ad fatigue is a real thing. Even great ads can die quickly. Also, markets are shifting fast, so what worked last week might not perform again this week. Testing consistently gives us a pipeline of winners and ensures we're always improving performance. The more you spend on one ad, the quicker it's going to die, right? So if you have one good ad as opposed to 3 or 5 good ads at one time, you're able to stretch out the lifespan of these ads. So introducing new ones every week gives you that option. So what metrics you should be looking at? When you're evaluating your creative performance, these are the key things. Your click-through rate. So this measures how many people click through to the website after seeing the ad. Higher click-through rate means stronger interest and relevance. Your cost per click shows how much we're paying for each site visit. So a lower cost per click generally means the creative is more efficient at driving traffic. Ads are always going to be expensive to drive traffic. So you really want this number as low as possible, because even if you're looking and you say, oh, cost per click is only 80 cents, that's so cheap, 80 cents is nothing. That's a lot. That's a really expensive cost per click. You should ideally want it at least below 50 and preferably around 20 cents. So cost per acquisition, or CPA. The most important metric early on, how much does it cost to convert someone into a customer? Lower CPA means better performance. Pretty simple, guys. Return on ad spend, or your ROAS. This is the flashy number that people love to, talk about and show off. This indicates how much revenue we're generating for every dollar spent. A ROAS above your break even is profitable. We help every single one of our clients find out their break even so that when we run the ads, it's fine-tuned to your business. We're not just running ads off, general ideas and theories. Like, everything that we do is custom made to the business we're working with. So we look at how many people stop and actually, these, sorry. This is other metrics that we look at. We look at how many people stop and actually watch the first few seconds of our videos to ensure that we're getting a strong attention grabbing hook. This is key because think about how much content is consumed. You literally will look at one video or 1 second of a video before scrolling on, right? You already think in your brain, I don't want to watch this, or I do want to watch this. Hooks are very important. So we also track how long viewers stay engaged with a video to see if the hook is holding attention. That's very important. So scaling top performers profitably. A lot of people struggle here and they fall off and they get scared of these numbers, right? So once we identify a winning ad, strong click-through rate, low CPA, high ROAS, right? We already talked about what those things mean. We gradually scale up the budget once a creative proves it's profitable, using controlled increases to maintain performance. If you start day one, you have a 10x ROAS. Amazing, this is great, you're making so much money. Let me throw twice as much money at it. Oh, now we're at a 3x, right? And you're losing a ton of money. You have to do it gradually with very controlled increments in order to maintain your performance. Another thing that we do is we isolate the creative into new campaigns with fresh audiences. So different interests or lookalike stacks just for testing. We'll test these variations. We'll do copy, headline, and format to extend the life of a winning creative. So like I said, scaling must be controlled to avoid resetting the algorithm or causing performance drops. A lot of people struggle with this step, and it's very important. Here's an example. This was our first week that we started working with them. We had a 6x ROAS. This is amazing. We're capturing some of the hype from the drop. I think here were some of our, boosting of posts that already existed on the page, and this was our main testing campaign. So you can see our cost per click. Like I said, you want to keep this as low as possible. Our cost per click was about 20 cents. Here's the next week. You can see we increased spend from 1,500 to 3,700. Now, we didn't just do this at one time. We're gradually increasing. The ROAS dropped a little bit as expected, but we still maintain, 13,000 return and a 29-cent cost per click. Now, I'll just go to the third week. This is where people really start getting scared because they go, oh my God, it dropped more. But guys, you need to keep in mind, If your metrics are still okay and you're still testing creatives, I don't think we had added more creatives in here. This is when we started. But if your break even is, for example, say your break even is a 2x ROAS, and if you're above a 2x, do not panic. Do not panic. You're still okay. So here we spent a little under 5,000 and still made back that 12,000. This just shows that, the hype, you ride the wave and it'll slowly go down. But once you get to a level right around here, we can level out. So yes, there is an initial spike. Most people get scared when they hit around this area and they're thinking, oh my gosh, like, I don't know how to maintain this. Like, I must be doing something wrong. The ROAS is dropping. My CPA is increasing. Click-through rate is going up. What's going on? Just refresh your creatives. Make sure you're staying in your break even or staying above your break even, and you can ride this wave out for so much longer and actually make way more money in this period than you even did in this initial launch. Introducing audience stacks. So we do interest stacks in the early stage. So when we have little pixel data, you can combine high relevance interests into one ad set, and this is great for an alternative to broad or cold targeting. Then we do lookalike stacks a little bit after we get some early wins. Once the pixel has enough data, we build powerful lookalike audiences based on high quality customer behavior. Powerful once you have a few hundred conversions or solid pixel data. You can't just jump right into lookalike stacks. This is based on your data that you already have on the pixel. So this is not based on any data that you already have. This totally is. Same thing with retargeting, is even based on even more data. You need even more data to be able to do retargeting. So that's why we say after about 1,000 plus sessions or events, you can start to retarget. Even then, this is going to be a way smaller portion of your total spend. Why is it smaller? This is a pool right here. This can be dried up. This one can also be dried up, but it's a bigger pool, right? I shouldn't have made that one so small. So this is your retargeting. This is your lookalike. And then this is your cold, right? So cold meaning interest or broad audience. So you need to always be spending money on cold in order to keep feeding these audiences, which will get you higher returns. So keep that in mind. What are we retargeting? We're retargeting engagers on the website and engagers on Facebook and Instagram. This usually has the highest ROAS, but you need enough site traffic to make it stable and cost effective. Basically, what I just explained here. Mind you, all of this that we're generating for this brand is through cold traffic. None of this is really from retargeting. They didn't have very much presence before this. So all of these acquisitions that we're getting are completely cold. These people have never seen the brand before. There's no way that they've seen the brand before because this product just came out. These people don't have a reputation that is big enough to be retargeting large amounts of people. So these numbers for cold conversions are amazing. So why does this matter? Brands that scale profitably and don't rely on one winner, no, not brands that, they build systems. So they're testing weekly. Testing is finding out what works, scaling is multiplying results, and retargeting is squeezing out of every last sale. So what does this growth mean for the brand? Profit can now be reinvested into inventory, creatives, and even more ads. New customer volume equals future revenue. So jumping from $12K to $58,000 a month means they're now acquiring significantly more customers. This is so important, significantly more customers. Many of these people will buy again through email and SMS or even organic with zero additional ad cost, driving up the LTV or lifetime value. Even if 20 to 30% of new customers come back to purchase, they'll unlock thousands in free revenue each month going forward. This is how you're going to grow a company. Ads aren't going to make you $1 million overnight, and it's not going to be cheap to run ads, but say he got 300 customers from this drop, like he said, 20%, so say 60 of them come back. This is 60 people that we wouldn't have had on the next drop because of the previous one, let alone all of the retargeting that we're doing to try to draw even more of these customers in with ads. So this 60 might actually turn into 200 customers on the next drop that are already familiar with the brand, that already want the products, that are already following. And not to mention, his following increased several thousand on Instagram. I didn't even think to mention that because we weren't trying to increase his followers on Instagram. It was just a byproduct of running the ads and him having a good product. So again, what does this growth mean for the brand? More data. which is smarter optimization. With this much volume, the pixel is rapidly maturing. We can now build better lookalikes, test more advanced audiences, and spot winning creative patterns faster. Future campaigns will optimize quicker and cost less to get off the ground. Bigger retargeting pools. The surge in traffic allows for powerful retargeting campaigns to kick in, which can be difference of abandoned carts, product viewers, site visitors, anything that might be, I mean, how many people are abandoning a cart on your website? Probably not too many, right? If you're a small company. But the more volume you're bringing, now instead of having 10 cart abandoners, we might have 10,000 cart abandoners just because of the pure amount of sessions. How many sessions did we have here? Let me check. It's actually not there. I can't check. So if now we have 10,000, we can actually retarget this pool when you can't, when there's only 10, right? These warm audiences usually deliver the highest return on ad spend, making the next few months even more profitable. Like I said, we barely had any retargeting here for this brand. They just didn't have enough data to retarget. We completely brought them in a new audience. We built them from the ground up. Not only did we do it from the ground up, we did it profitably based on their cost of goods and their profit margins. We are not going to run your company into the ground, making you pay for new customers. We are going to get you the most optimized spend per customer possible to ensure your brand is growing while you're still making money. So predictable scale from here. This is what this means. We've now proven that the brand can still scale profitably. This isn't guesswork anymore. And now it's just about refining the creative, optimizing spend, and doubling down on what's already working to push past $75,000 to $100,000 a month and even more beyond. That will just come down to the brand owner if he wants to scale that far. But based on what we've already seen with the ads, it's totally possible. So some of you may be asking, can you please stop talking? And some of you may be asking, well, this is really interesting. How can I actually get this for my company? So you can reach out to me via Instagram, josh.hills0. I'll also link it in the description. We're just going to ask you some questions about your brand, get to know you a little bit, understand you, hop on a quick phone call. And worst case scenario, if you don't, or if you aren't interested in our services, we'll give you some tips on how to continue scaling on your own so that you can still benefit from the call and we won't waste your time. If you want to learn from me, I have a free link in my Discord bio that will help a lot of you guys, get started, get your feet off the ground, and learn a little bit more of these strategies and how to implement them into your own campaigns. Anyway, I hope you guys learned something from this video. I hope that my face cam was a little bit entertaining watching me probably go cross-eyed a few times. But if you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe, join the Discord, you'll learn a lot, and follow me on Instagram. Make sure to subscribe. I already said that. I appreciate you all, and let's keep winning.